Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you had a gentle and calm start to the new year. And today I just want to sit and do a very short video about how my reading has been going in 2019 and what I plan reading-wise in 2020. Now, I had kind of a rough end of 2019, so for a long time I didn't really feel like setting any goals for myself. But now that I feel a bit freshened up and I feel like I can tackle this year, I just put a few points that I want to put emphasis on in terms of my reading for 2020, and I thought I would share that with you. I'm just going to look quickly back on my goals for the previous year that I have actually never mentioned on this channel because I only started putting out videos in February 2019. But I have this reading journal and I set myself some goals there. So I'm just going to quickly go through them and tell you how I've done. My first goal was linked to the Goodreads reading goal, and that is just to set yourself a number of books you want to read during the year, and I set it to 50 books. And I did manage to read 50 books. I read more than 50 books. I read 74 books in the end, and I'm really happy about that. Next, I wanted to force myself to continue series of books where I usually read the first one and then started losing interest, or thought that if I'm not going to keep up with this, I might completely drop all of it. So I set myself to read 5 different sequels, and I managed to read 3 of these 5. I read Eldest, which is the sequel to Aragon from the Inheritance cycle. I read Black Hammer Volume 2, and I read Monstress Volume 3. I did not read the second book in the seasonal quartet by Ali Smith, Winter, and I also didn't read the second book of the My Brilliant Friend series by Elena Ferrante. These 2 are still not read. I also set myself the goal to read at least 5 nonfiction books during the year, and this I surpassed more than I ever thought I would, and this is mostly due to the fact that I started using Audible and consumed a lot of nonfiction books through that, and I ended up reading 24 nonfiction books, which is like 2 nonfictions a month on average, which is crazy. So I'm really happy about that. Then I also wanted to read 2 specific classics, just books that I thought I wanted to get to and thought I would just put as an extra goal. The first one was to reread Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë, and the second one to read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I did not reread Jane Eyre, and I did try to read To the Lighthouse, but it ended up being a DNF. The 5th goal I set myself was to read 3 short story collections, and I did read 3 short story collections, and I was so happy I did. I really enjoyed all 3 of them. The first one being Stone Mattress by Margaret Atwood, Boule de suif et autres récits de guerre by Guy de Maupassant, and The Birds and Other Stories by Daphne du Maurier. And finally, I had another goal where I just put 4 specific books that I wanted to get to during the year of 2019, and I did read all 4 of them. Enjoyed them to various degrees, but I did get to them, which was good. I read Les Fleurs du Mal, the poetry collection by Charles Baudelaire. I read Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, and then 2 more regionally located books. One called Hexelalis und Fleckehes, which is a book about the traditions around carnival in the region I'm currently living, as well as Unsere Franzosezitt, which is a book by Hart, who is a native Alsatian like I am, about life in my home region on the run-up to the First World War. So overall, I'm really happy that I set myself these goals, just to get kind of a framework about what I wanted to put some emphasis on. And for the year of 2020, I set myself less goals and goals that are more vague, just because I feel like this is how I want to have my reading year, just something that is less structured and just gives me more freedom. So I have 5 goals in total, and they can really complement each other, so it's really less goals than that. The first goal is the overall goal of books that I want to read during the year, and I kept it to 50. It just gives me a good push, but at the same time I just hope it's not gonna be like way too crazy and I would have to like force myself to read some books just to reach this goal. My second goal is participating in the Classics Community 2020 challenge that was set up by Lucy from the channel Lucy the Reader. And for this challenge I've decided to read at least 20 classics in 2020. I will be doing an extra video on where my TBR stands for that and more information, but this is one of the goals I'm really excited to tackle this year. My third goal is to read more books from 4 different authors whose books I've enjoyed previously and that I just want to explore more. And these 4 authors are Daphne du Maurier, Jesmyn Ward, H.G. Wells, and Rainer Maria Rilke. For all 4 of these, I have read 1 or more works, but actually not more than 2. And I just want to read more of their work and get to explore their back catalogue more. My fourth goal is inspired by the challenge that was set up by Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures and Britta Boule, both of which are encouraging people to read more German literature during 2020. And I have realized already in my previous years that I have been neglecting reading books in French and German. And this is something that I want to remedy this year. And I've set myself the goal of reading at least 1 book in French or German per month. Finally, the 5th goal is to dare to tackle more of the big books I have on my shelf. And I just picked 4 of them, either because I've had them for too long and I haven't gotten to them, or just because right now I'm really excited about them. And the first one is East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which I meant to read last year. Secondly, there's The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is just one I want to know what it's all about, and I want to see if I'm one of the people who really likes it or if I'm one of the people who doesn't like it at all. The third one is a really big one, and that's Le Comte de Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I really enjoyed some of Dumas' previous writings that I have read, and I think now it's time to tackle the big one. And finally, we have an even bigger one, and that is Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. I have read Notre Dame de Paris last year, and it kind of kickstarted me and showed me that I can do big books if I put my mind to it, and I can get through them, and it's not as bad as it looks. And I think now I'm ready for Les Misérables. Alright, that's it from my side today, guys. I would really love to know what your reading goals are for 2020. It's always really fascinating to follow the craze that's going on at the beginning of a new calendar year, people thinking about what they want to read and getting really excited about what's coming. So please let me know in the comments down below what some of your goals are for 2020, and also you're very welcome to encourage me in the comments down below if any of the books I mentioned you read and you really liked. That would be very much appreciated, and yeah, I will see you in my next one. Bye!